All right, what's up, YouTube? I am Mickey Jordan, your host here, aka Instigator Mick. We are doing our first podcast here in just about a few minutes. I mean, obviously, technically, it would be 1 o'clock, but I was getting too excited. Let's get on to it. Today, we're gonna be talking about like college football. Obviously, this weekend is the first week of college football. Starts this Thursday tomorrow, and of course, you also got the Yankees Tigers this week. We'll get into that pretty shortly. Just want to remind you, obviously, why I got the name Instigator Mick. It all started me trolling a couple of fans. Obviously, wearing other teams' jerseys just to piss off my dad over the years. Wearing especially that Detroit Lions shirt. I don't know why I did that. I'm a Bills fan, but I don't know why I wore Detroit Lions. And then all of a sudden, it just started just turning into an inside joke. And Evan's like, you know what? You're pretty good. You're pretty good. We should call you Instigator Mick. You just know how to get people going. You really just know how to get people going. Like, all right. Like, all right, let's do it. So that's why I got the name Instigator Mick. And I pissed off, obviously, Max Garvin many occasions. I wore Detroit. I remember including the Detroit Tigers gear like this past season. I think it was this early in the beginning of the month. It was. They played the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that's why I got the name Instigator Mick. But the main thing is, let's get into tonight's Yankees Tigers game. Why is this big to me? I know the Yankees have a disappointing year. I'm a Yankees fan. I know that, but they've been disappointing this year. This baseball season's been just pure hell. Judge getting injured twice this season. Offense ain't as good as it was. Ugh. The Yankees, man, they've been disappointing this year. But at least they won the first 2 games of the series in Detroit. Last night, my Uncle Mike was at that game. I was giving him shit about it last night. Oh yeah, he was talking all this shit, saying Judge is so slow. We were going back and forth all night on Snapchat. We were going back and forth. So let's get into tonight's game. Garrett Cole will be on the mound for the Yankees. Obviously, Detroit yet to know who they're going to start. They're probably going to put a bullpen pitcher, I'm guessing, because they suck, and it's like playing a minor league team. Well, I have no room to talk. We suck this year, but Garrett Cole's going to kick some ass tonight. I guarantee it. That's why I put $10 on the Yankees on DraftKings. I put $10 on them. So that's what I did. Hey, see, Qbert joined the chat. What's going on, Q? How's my brother there to just join the chat there? Shout out to him. Watching it from Alfred U. Oh, yeah. The Yankees should kick the shit out of the Tigers. Of course, my cousin Nick will be at that game. He's a Tigers fan. This is like our playoffs at this point. Playing teams like them. We're playing like the Pittsburgh Pirates, obviously, next month. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to beat the Tigers. I hope Nick's watching this when he catches the replay. Tigers suck. They're going down tonight. We're going to sweep you guys. We own you this year. The Yankees have always owned the Tigers. Yeah, seriously. Yankees are Detroit's daddy. No doubt about it. But now let's get into college football. The main thing we're here for is college football. Weekly, me and my buddy Max here do all these predictions. Oh yeah, go Saxons, baby. That's right. They start the season this year. They start this Friday night. Home opener to start the year. If anyone's in Alfred, you go check that game out. Should be a good one. But let's get into college football. Starting tomorrow, there's some college football games all around across ESPN and other networks. First game, obviously, let's talk about Utah and Florida. That's a Thursday night game tomorrow. That's in Utah. Of course, Florida pulled the upset last year when these two met, surprisingly. And obviously, Max surprisingly picked Florida, and he actually won it. Of course, that was at the time they were kind of decent. They had Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. Now Anthony Richardson, he's a rookie for the Colts, and he's currently the starting quarterback for the Colts. Will be this upcoming season in NFL. We'll get into him next week. But Utah, they're always just a competitive team. They're always like a playoff contender at this point. The Pac-12 is going to be a lot better than it's been in recent years. So, who am I taking in this Utah-Florida game? This is not in Florida this year. This is in Utah. And it's prime time. I got to go with Utah on this one. Utah is going to roll over the Gators. They're going to pound them this time. Some people are like, what the hell? Why'd you pick Utah this time? Why are you picking Utah again? I think Utah's out for revenge this time. They really want to be in the playoffs. You got to beat some Power 5 teams like Florida, especially in a power conference like the SEC. The SEC has been a juggernaut. That conference is such a juggernaut. Yep, I got Utah. Hopefully, I wonder what Max will pick, but I know I got Utah winning this one. Let's go in the other Thursday night game. It's a Big Ten matchup here. Conference game right off the bat. Nebraska at Minnesota. That'll be on Fox Thursday night at 8:00. So who wins that one and why? Everyone's be shocked in this one. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Nebraska over Minnesota. I know Nebraska's a road underdog, but don't sleep on them this year. Matt Rule has improved a lot of college programs in the past. He's improved Temple, made them a good team for a while. He's improved Baylor for sure under his administration. Now I think he's gonna turn Nebraska's program around. I really think Matt Rule's such a good coach. He's not good in the NFL, but he's definitely a hell of a college football coach, no doubt. So I like Nebraska in this one in Matt Rule's debut. Give me the Cornhuskers. Let's get into the Friday night game. Louisville at Georgia Tech. This is an ACC matchup, a neutral site game in Atlanta. Of course, home of the Atlanta Falcons. That game will be at. Georgia, it's your favorite Georgia Tech, right? I mean, it should, but not really. Not really. None of that home crowd doesn't matter. I think Louisville still rolls over them. Louisville is still explosive offense. Of course, they're under new administration too. Jeff Brom is the new head coach. Of course, Jeff Brom was previously at Purdue. So I think he's done a hell of a job at Purdue. I think he's gonna do a good job at Louisville. So I like Louisville over Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is not much of a athletic school, kind of. There's more in their academics than there are in their football or their basketball or anything. Their sports in general just suck, except baseball. There's a baseball school in general. That's what Georgia Tech is. But all right, now on to all the Saturday games. Starting with the neutral site game. This one is in Nashville, Tennessee. I got the University of Virginia. Obviously, I am big thumbs down on UVA. I'm a Virginia Tech fan. And they're playing against Tennessee. This could be the first game for UVA since the mass shooting last year in November. Hearts go out to them, even though they're my rivals, but hearts go out to them still from last year. That's got to be a tough way to end their season like that, losing 3 of their teammates and all that. But it's going to be an emotional game for them. But reality, I think Tennessee's going to roll over them. Tennessee is still a great team. They're still a powerhouse. I think they're still going to be just as good as last year's team. Obviously, last year's team I thought was going to make the playoffs. Hendon Hooker, former Hokie, that was Tennessee quarterback. That man, he was just unbelievable last year. Hendon Hooker was just going up, put up numbers. Even a win over Alabama. I forgot Tennessee had a hell of a season last year. I thought this was the year they're going to make the playoffs. I knew they were going to beat Alabama. I knew they were going to beat Alabama all year. I called it right at the bat. They're going to beat Bama. So, yeah, this year, obviously, Joe Milton's your quarterback. Now, Hendon Hooker's in the NFL, playing for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, right now on the physically unable to play list, since, still recovering from his torn ACL last college football season. Soon he'll be back after Jared Goff eventually. But Joe Milton last year, he impressed me so much in that Orange Bowl against Clemson last year. When I saw that game, I was like, At first, I wasn't a fan of Milton when he played at Michigan, kind of. He was inconsistent, kind of. But once he came to Tennessee, once I saw that Orange Bowl game, I was like, okay, this guy's got a strong arm. I think Tennessee's still going to be great. Just like last year's team. When I saw that game last year. I like Tennessee. Tennessee wins big over UVA. I like Tennessee. It's just gonna be a cakewalk for them. I really think so. Especially if they got home crowd in the Tennessee Titans Stadium. Oh yeah, give me the Vols in this one. They're gonna be a dark horse for a playoff contender in the SEC for sure. I'd give them that. All right, next one, Colorado at TCU. That's another noon game. That's big noon Saturday on Fox. TCU and Colorado. Deion Sanders head coaching debut for Colorado. Coach Prime, let's see what he does here. Seriously, Colorado, everyone's talking about them because Deion Sanders is the head coach. Seriously, Colorado was they were kind of decent for years, but had some runs in the past in the early 2000s. But oh man, now it's all hype because of Deion Sanders. I think he's gonna really turn that program around. We'll see how he does. Let's see if he can put his money where his mouth is or something like that. Let's see if he can just back it up. His team can back it up. For sure. Deion Sanders has done a hell of a job at Jackson State. But this is not FCS, is not the HBCU level. This is the Power 5 conference. This is the big time now. Your Deion Sanders had so much success there. This is the big times now. Go up against a team that was in the national championship last year in TCU. Everyone's probably going to pick Colorado. Oh, my God, Colorado. But nope. I'm not on the Deion Sanders hype train yet. TCU is still the real deal. I like TCU big in this one. It's not going to be close. Next one, 3:30 game on 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. UB in Wisconsin. All right, this is a team in my area, the University of Buffalo, the UB Bulls, baby. They play against Wisconsin up against a Power 5 school. So in my heart, I definitely want UB to win, but I picked Wisconsin, unfortunately. I had to pick Wisconsin because it's the right thing to do. I wanted to pick the upset, but Wisconsin's too much. Wisconsin is no doubt too much. I definitely like Wisconsin in this one, big time. So I think, I'm hoping for Western New York's sake. UB pulls the upset in Wisconsin. Oh, baby. This has been a good show so far, I gotta say. I'm enjoying this right now. I'm having a good time. My first time. I mean, this is not my first rodeo, I tell you that. I've done it many times with my cousin Evan. Shout out to Western New York Sports, his YouTube channel. Go subscribe to Western New York Sports. He's got some great content on not just all sports, but also mostly golf. Check out his page. It's just great. You really got to check out some of his great golf content. Shout out to Evan Jordan at Western New York Sports. Now let's get on to the next game. Wofford versus Pitt. This is such an easy one. I hate Pitt. We'll get into that another time. Oh, shout out to Max Garvin just joined the show. What's up, Max? Shout out to my buddy Max, who was watching it from his Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Max, open you're taking your notes on these picks, man, on our college football predictions, because you already heard some of my picks already. I don't know if you heard yet, but you already take your notes in this one. Take it seriously this week, because I know I'm going to kick your ass. I know I'm taking my notes already. But it's a good time you're on, because I'm talking about your Pitt Panthers right now. They play Wofford this weekend. This should be an easy one for them because they're an FCS team. So I took Pitt easily. They're going to blow out Wofford. I'm familiar with Wofford because Virginia Tech played them last year. So yeah, I like Pitt in this one pretty easily. Now let's get into primetime games. This is a Saturday night game on ABC. College Game Day will be there for this one in Charlotte, North Carolina, neutral site game. It's the Battle of the Carolinas, UNC versus South Carolina. This should be a classic for sure between these two. It's a toss-up. The spread is. It's been a toss-up all week. UNC's slightly the favorites, but I like South Carolina better in this one. SEC over ACC, kind of like this one. Plus, Virginia Tech's of course, the former Virginia Tech assistant coach is the head coach for South Carolina. Shane Beamer, if you haven't heard of him, he's the son of former legendary head coach Frank Beamer. So obviously he's done a hell of a job with South Carolina, and obviously Spencer Rattler's got his career together. He's finally got his shit together because he was like so inconsistent in Oklahoma. Everyone kept saying like he's a bum, but he turned it around last year, especially when he played against Tennessee. So I like the Gamecocks in this one. I like them beating the Tar Heels in that matchup. That's where College Game Day will be at. Make sure to check out College Game Day, 9 a.m. on ESPN right away. Obviously Lee Corse will be on there making his headgear pick. You got Kirk Herbstreit, obviously, always a great analyst. But you know what makes it more fun? Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee makes the show College Game Day more fun, I think, once he's joined. No doubt about it. Oh, baby, this one's a good one. It's an old school rivalry that's returning this year. Penn State and West Virginia. That's in Happy Valley. That's at Penn State. Saturday night game on NBC. Oh, I got to go with Penn State in this one. This is a team I like making the playoffs. I think Penn State's a playoff contender this year. I really think they're making the playoffs in my books. I like Penn State this year for some reason. I've heard a lot of good things about them this offseason. I've heard a lot of great things about Penn State. I've heard a lot of great things about them. So I took them over West Virginia, and that's why I took them to win the Big Ten and to make the playoffs, even win the national title. We'll get into the playoff predictions in just a while. So I got Penn State in this one big time. West Virginia playing in Happy Valley at nighttime. It's not gonna be pretty, I tell you. The crowd is gonna get in your guys' heads. So I got Penn State big. Oh, this is the one I'm really excited to get into. Let's get into my Virginia Tech Hokies. They're playing Old Dominion this weekend in Blacksburg. This is the rematch. This is pretty fucking personal for me. I tell you right now, this is pretty fucking personal. Last year, these guys. Let's get back to 2018 when this really got personal. That's why I started hating Old Dominion. They fucking pulled the upset. At the time, number 13 Virginia Tech. This was like my senior year of high school. This happened. God, I was so pissed off. I was so fucking pissed off about it. I was getting so many texts from my fantasy group chat. Oh, you lost to Old Dominion. Yeah, I know. I know we did it that year. Same as last year. Same fucking thing. We lose to Old Dominion. That game was such a fucking fluke, last year's game. Don't even get me started on last year's game. Unbelievable. They just look like their heads were so far up their ass. Virginia Tech was. I'm a Hokies fan, but God, they looked like shit last year in that game. It's Old Dominion. This time, it's in Blacksburg under the lights. Enter Sandman. Let's fucking go. I'm taking my Hokies as always. I'm always taking Virginia Tech. You know damn well I'm never gonna pick against them. Max, hope you're watching that one, because I'm telling you, Hokies are gonna kick the shit out of Old Dominion. Guarantee it. All right, now let's get into Sunday. There's a couple Sunday games. Usually there's always a one Sunday game, but there's actually two or three this year. Rutgers against Northwestern. That's a Big Ten matchup. Northwestern had some off the field issues this year. They got rid of their coach due to a hazing incident involving the football team. So they got a lot of drama up their sleeves. They got so much going on. It's gonna be a long season for them, no doubt. And the game's in Rutgers too, so I like Rutgers that one for sure. I like Rutgers easily. I mean, this one surprisingly picking Rutgers, but Northwestern, they're not gonna be as good as they were. They've been going downhill even more with their offseason drama. So I definitely like Rutgers in this one. Let's get on the Sunday night game. This is the game of the year. Might be the best game obviously in the whole week. Florida State and LSU. Last year's game was an instant classic. This year, they're both top 10 teams. Obviously, they're both playoff contenders. Florida State, I think they're back. I think they're for real. I think they're back to the way they used to be, a powerhouse team. I think Florida State is back. I really believe it. And LSU, obviously, they're back to their form. Obviously, not as good as the Joe Burrow team, obviously, but LSU's definitely obviously a top 5 team. This is going to be a top 10 matchup here because Florida State's number 8 and LSU's number 5. Who do I like? This one I really had trouble picking all week. I had trouble with this one. I'm going to have to go with Florida State in this one. I have to go with the Seminoles again, just like last year. Florida State won last year. They're going to win again. I like the Seminoles. This is another team I got in my top 4 in the playoffs this year. I like Florida State as a playoff team this year. I really think they're back. I think they're for real. Jordan Travis, back for another season. I watch out for him. He's going to have a hell of a year. This Seminoles team, look out. Well, obviously the last pick, Labor Day night, on Labor Day, Duke and Clemson. This is an ACC matchup. This is at Duke. Obviously, most people think, oh, Duke basketball. Nope, this is football, though. You know, Clemson is obviously another top 10 team. Clemson, everyone thinks they're going to be still great. They think they're going to be back. No. I really don't think Clemson's not going to be as good. Florida State's going to run the ACC. Florida State really is going to be the better ACC team all year. We'll get into that eventually, but obviously, Clemson, they're not as good as the Trevor Lawrence days or the Deshaun Watson days. I think Clemson's just overrated. They're overrated. They ranked them too high. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going Duke upsetting Clemson. I really think Duke pulls up the upset. I think Duke's underrated this year. Their football team. Riley Leonard as their quarterback. Last year, Duke obviously had a 9-win season. They really kicked ass last year. I like Riley Leonard in this one. I really like Duke in this one, pulling the upset. That's what I like in this one, obviously. But all right, those are my picks this week. I had Utah over Florida. I had Nebraska over Ohio, Nebraska over Minnesota, Louisville over Georgia Tech. I had Tennessee over UVA. Had TCU over Colorado. I had Wisconsin over UB. Pitt obviously over Wofford. South Carolina over Carolina. Penn State over West Virginia. Virginia Tech over Old Dominion. Rutgers over Northwestern. Florida State over LSU, and then obviously Duke upsetting Clemson. Those are my picks for this week. Now, obviously, the Yankees are going to kick the shit out of the Tigers, which we all know it's going to happen. Like always, the Yankees always own Detroit. Hope Aaron Judge puts one out of the park tonight. That's for sure. My cousin Nick will be at that game. Oh, man. We'll see how me and Max do this week in our predictions, obviously. We've been doing this since 2021. Obviously, Max won it the first year. Last year, I won, so I'm the defending champ going into this year. Oh, yeah, I like this one. But now let's get into these college football playoff predictions. Like who my top 4 teams making the playoffs? I like Alabama as one of my as one of my top 4 like teams that are gonna make the playoffs. I like Alabama. I like Penn State. I think you heard. I like Penn State. I like Florida State, and I like Texas. Those are my top 4. Take the playoffs. And I think it's going to be, I think the matchups will be Florida State, Alabama, and Penn State and Texas. Penn State knocks off Texas. I think Florida State beats Alabama. And Penn State, I think, Penn State and Florida State. I think Penn State wins a national title. I think, to be honest, there's no like dynasty team this year. It feels like everyone. I feel like it's wide open this year. This playoff and championship this year. Usually, it's always like the top 4 teams every year. Everyone's like, why not Michigan? Why not Ohio State? Why not put Michigan in there? They're overrated. They may have been great. They were great last year or last 2 years. It's too hard to make it 3 years in a row. Plus Harbaugh's got some issues with recruiting violations. He's in trouble. He's suspended for the first 3 games. Michigan. They're gonna have a downhill. I think Ohio State's gonna have take a step back this year. They're not gonna be as good as last year. Now, obviously, with C.J. Stroud gone and some of the other great receivers like JSN. I don't know. Alabama's gonna be back, but they're not gonna be as good as they were. They'll be like one of the last teams in because they'll lose to Texas. Obviously, they play them next week. Yeah, those are my playoff predictions. Obviously, I can't wait for next week though. The NFL though, I can't wait for it. Talk about that next week. Oh man, what else, guys? Let's get into me and Max's rivalry, the Virginia Tech Pitt rivalry. Let's see. Let's start back in 2015. It was 2015 it started. First time, of course, Pitt won 17-13 over Virginia Tech that year. Obviously, I was watching it, Max. And then obviously this was like, this started to become a rivalry. That's when I started hating Pitt. This is when the rivalry began. 2015 it was, October 3rd, 2015. Just a simple Saturday started. And it just become a thing. No doubt, that's what defined our friendship is that rivalry for sure. No doubt about it. I hope everyone enjoyed the live stream. That's it for now. I'll see you next Wednesday. Enjoy watching college football this weekend. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.